If you only look at a pitcher's win total to judge their performance, you're missing the entire story. Seriously, if you're still citing 20-win seasons in ERA without asking about strikeout rates, batted ball quality, or pitch modeling, you're decades behind. Today, we're breaking down the entire history of pitching stats in 11 minutes or less, walking you through how we went from outdated box scores to next-gen pitch metrics that have completely changed the way that fans and coaches alike think about the game. This is the story of how pitching evaluation got smarter and how you can too. But before we dive in, I've got something I'm really excited to share with you all. 2 brand new hat styles just dropped in the Simple Sabermetrics shop. We've got a red, white, and blue and a new navy cap that I think you guys are going to love. They're available right now on simplesabermetrics.com/shop or right below this video in the YouTube shop tab. There's a limited stock on this drop, so go and grab one while you still can. Alright, let's hop back into the video. Starting in the early era, where wins and ERA ruled everything. We're talking pre-1980. Pitching statistics have come a long way. Dating back to the late 1800s, pitchers were judged on a short checklist: win-loss record, ERA, complete games, and total strikeouts. And if you were really dominant, you chased 300 wins or 3,000 strikeouts. A popular stat still used today, ERA, or earned run average, was created in the mid to late 19th century by Henry Chadwick. And although it didn't become popular until the early 1900s, if you look up the origin story of why he created this new cutting-edge stat, at the time, on MLB's website, it says, Chadwick's thinking was that win-loss record simply didn't go far enough in determining the mark of a good pitcher. And that last portion is exactly the point of today's video. At the time, ERA was a better indicator of a pitcher's success than win-loss record. And as more technology or information becomes available to teams or statisticians, the stats that we relied on for generations become outdated. We go through several iterations of this same cycle throughout the video today. An analyst creates a statistic, new technology becomes available, unlocking better ways to analyze a pitcher's abilities, and then the original stat becomes outdated and replaced with a new statistic. And that cycle then begins again. The stats used back then were simple, clean, and familiar, but they also came with major blind spots. Wins and losses, completely dependent on run support. ERA doesn't account for park factors, defensive ability, or luck. Complete games, a cool accomplishment of course, but it doesn't mean that the outing was good. And that brings us to our next era, the box score expansion in Sabermetrics, kind of the first wave of smarter stats. We're talking 1980 to the 2000s. This is where the revolution really began. Thanks to minds like Bill James, the wave of easier access to the internet, and an increased interest in baseball analytics, baseball started shifting from outcomes to process, and pitching stats evolved with it. That meant looking beyond ERA and developing stats like FIP, or fielding independent pitching, which focuses only on Ks, walks, and home runs, all things a pitcher can control. xFIP adds a league average home run and fly ball rate for better projection, and Sierra, which takes it even further, weighting batted ball types. This was the control what you can control era. It told us a strikeout is better than a ground ball. A pitcher allowing a home run is worse than a bloop single, and pitchers shouldn't be punished for bad defense behind them. These stats didn't replace ERA, they added layers to it based on the new readily available information that teams, analysts, and fans alike began to have access to. Sites like Fangraphs, Baseball Reference, and Baseball Prospectus all paved the way for the casual fan to be able to do a deep dive into their favorite teams and players, all for free within a couple clicks of a mouse. This era defined the way we think about baseball now, asking questions about the way we track individual pitchers and teams' pitching staff's success, and if there are better ways to do that. Fuel was added to the flame when the New York Times bestseller and award-winning movie Moneyball took the baseball analytics community by storm. And although the story was mostly told through Billy Beane and Co.'s cutting-edge ideas as it pertains to hitters, if you want to hear more on this, check out last week's video on the history of hitting stats. The idea of fans' favorite major league teams applying the principles shown off in the book and movie sparked a whole new generation of baseball analysts. This brings us through the early 2000s to the 2010s. As technology and availability of pitching statistics evolved, so did the game, With openers, piggybacks, and bullpen games, we needed to continue to change the stats we use to evaluate pitchers. During this era, we leaned into K per 9 and walk per 9, measuring dominance and control per inning. K to walk ratio, a clean stat that shows who missed bats and avoided walks. And win probability added and leverage index, measuring impact when it mattered most. Pitchers weren't just defined by season totals anymore, they were judged by matchups, situational leverage, and per pitch efficiency. It was starting to become commonplace for teams to have at least a couple of front office analysts working for the club during this time, and the access to public baseball data was continuing to grow. This brings us to the Statcast era. Pitch quality meets technology. So, then came Statcast, and everything changed. Now we could measure CSW percentage, which is called strikes plus whiffs, expected ERA, and expected WOBA against, which are expected results based on contact quality. Stuff plus, which is your pure pitch quality, breaking down a pitch's exact movement, velocity, and shape, and run value by pitch type, not just what a pitcher throws, but how valuable each pitch is. This unlocked the modern era of pitch modeling, breaking into this new pitch tracking age. It started with PitchFX in 2006, which ran all the way to 2016, which was the first public pitch tracking system. It gave us the ability to track pitch velocity, movement, and where each pitch crossed the strike zone. And then we upgraded to TrackMan in 2015 through 2020, which brought radar-based spin rate, release point, and more accurate pitch break analysis into the mix. And now, we are in the Hawkeye era, 2020 through the present. A dozen synchronized high-speed cameras capture everything: pitch movement, location, velocity, and it can even give us insight into a pitcher's biomechanics. Pitch arsenal matters now more than ever, and the ability to track every single pitch a pitcher ever throws has allowed teams and analysts to create models to predict how each guy's stuff should grade out compared to the rest of the league. A pitcher's fastball might sit 98, but if it lacks ride or plays poorly off of the slider, it's going to get torched. The lesson? Velocity is just a piece of the puzzle. It's how pitches move, sequence, and deceive hitters that really matter. And these new pieces of technology have allowed us to measure this for the first time ever. So, where are we now? We're talking about front office modelings, baseball savant dashboards, and projectable stuff. Today, every pitch can be tracked, modeled, and projected. Sites like Fangraphs, Baseball Savant, and Baseball Prospectus have made advanced pitching data available to the public. Meanwhile, front offices are running their own internal models, predicting injury risk, quantifying pitch shapes, and designing arsenals to exploit hitter weaknesses. And the analysts building those models, they're often 25 to 35 years old, with backgrounds in data science, not scouting. Pitching analysis has gone from radar guns and gut feel to 3D tracking, biomechanical assessments, and machine learning models. The business of baseball has turned into just that, a business. So what do scouts and front offices look for in pitchers now? If you're looking to get recruited, drafted, or just understand how the modern pitcher is evaluated, here's what teams are now watching. FIP and Sierra, an elevated take on ERA. CSW percentage. Does a pitcher dominate the zone? Expected stats like xERA or xWOBA allowed. Are you unlucky or just getting hit hard? Run value. Which pitches actually prevent runs? And Stuff Plus. How good are your raw pitches? And if you want to deep dive into all of these stats, check out our latest video on the top 5 pitching stats that MLB front offices actually care about in the link in the description. Front offices don't just want results. They want repeatable and predictable processes. They're drafting traits, tools, and projectability nowadays. Pitching stats have always tried to answer the same question. How good is this pitcher? Really? Early answers were simple and incomplete, but today we can go deeper than ever. We know which pitches work, why they work, and how to get more of them. This isn't about replacing tradition, it's about understanding what actually wins baseball games. So, whether you are a high school arm or just watching your favorite starter, forget the win-loss record, dig into the data, and see the game in a whole new way. And if you want more smart baseball breakdowns, check out our other videos on ERA versus FIP, the truth about pitcher wins, and why starters don't throw complete games anymore. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you check out those limited edition Simple Sabermetrics hats available now at simplesabermetrics.com/shop. They look clean, and every purchase from the shop gets poured right back into this channel to help keep these videos coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week on Simple Sabermetrics.